Somewhere out there is a truck that was flooded, set on fire, and dropped from a height that should have ended it. It started anyway. That truck is on this list, ranked number 1. But you'll have to earn that reveal, because first, 4 other pickups have to prove they belong in this conversation. 5 trucks, 1 question. What does it actually take to build something nearly impossible to kill? We start with the truck that proved simplicity might be the toughest trick of all. Number 5. Ford Ranger, first generation. Picture a small-town contractor in the late 1980s, tight budget, a bed full of tools, a daily route of gravel roads and steep driveways. This truck was never meant to impress anyone. It was meant to show up, and it did. The first-generation Ranger leaned entirely on restraint. No turbochargers, no layered electronics, just a basic 4-cylinder or V6 and mechanical systems simple enough for a home garage to handle. Fewer components meant fewer things that could fail, and that alone let these trucks quietly outlast the expectations set for them. But here's where the story gets less impressive. Rust was the real threat. Frames and rocker panels in wetter climates could corrode long before the drivetrain ever gave out. And the smaller engines meant heavy towing was never really on the table. Would you still trust one today, rust and all? Plenty of owners would, but only because they know exactly what to check first. Simplicity gets you this far. The next truck kept that same philosophy and added something the Ranger never had. Number 4. Froplax. Froblad C/K series. There's a reason mechanics still smile when a small block Chevy V8 rolls into the shop. It's one of the most produced, most understood engines ever built, and that familiarity became its own form of durability. Chevrolet had spent decades refining this V8 formula, working the weak points out long before these trucks ever hit the road. And because the platform was everywhere, parts were never hard to find, which matters just as much as the engine when you're trying to keep a truck alive for 30 years. The C/K's reputation isn't really about the engine alone. It's the whole ecosystem around it, mechanics who understand it instinctively, parts still sitting on shelves decades later. They weren't invincible though. Transmissions could wear under heavy, sustained towing, and rust remained the same enemy it was for the Ranger. If a gasoline V8 with this much familiarity can earn this kind of loyalty, what happens when the same durability mindset gets handed to engineers who build diesels for a living? Before we get into the diesels, if you enjoy discovering trucks engineered to outlast their own reputations, consider subscribing. There's a lot more of this coming. Number 3. Ford F-250/F-350, 7.3-liter Power Stroke. There's a specific sound contractors and tow professionals remember instantly. A diesel rattle on a cold morning that meant the truck wasn't going to be the reason the job stopped. Here's what people get wrong about this engine. It wasn't mechanical simplicity. It was genuinely sophisticated for its era. Built through a partnership between Ford and International Harvester/Navistar, the 7.3-liter Power Stroke used a HEUI fuel system, hydraulically actuated, electronically controlled injection, advanced diesel technology at the time sitting on top of an unusually strong, overbuilt architecture underneath. That combination produced serious low-end torque, which is exactly why heavy-duty owners specifically gravitated toward it. People who needed a diesel that could work for years, not just look tough doing it. In diesel circles, high mileage on a well-maintained 7.3 is treated as an established fact, not a rumor. But there was a catch. Fuel injectors and certain fittings were known trouble spots when service intervals slipped. This engine rewarded attention and punished neglect in equal measure. If the 7.3 earned this much respect from the people who actually work on trucks for a living, how does anything top it? The wizard distwams umtu. Number 2. Dodge Ram 2500/3500 5.9-liter Cummins. There's a specific kind of loyalty reserved for the 5.9-liter Cummins. Owners don't just tolerate this engine, many build part of their identity around it. Cummins wasn't primarily in the business of building truck engines. They built engines for heavy equipment and industrial machinery, where failure isn't an inconvenience, it's a real problem. Dodge didn't just add a diesel option when they partnered with Cummins. They put an industrial-grade heart into a personal vehicle. The inline-six layout matters too. inherently simpler and more balanced than a V8, with fewer components working against each other. On the earliest 12-valve versions specifically, injection was fully mechanical, no electronics between the driver and the engine, which is a huge part of why that generation became so famous. Later 24-valve and common rail versions brought their own strengths, so it's worth being precise. Not every 5.9 Cummins is the same engine, and the 12 valves' legendary status doesn't automatically transfer. What they share is torque, heavy, low RPM torque, that pulled horse trailers and campers across the country without strain. But the engine and the truck around it aren't the same thing. Lift pump and early injection issues could cause real headaches, and transmissions under sustained heavy towing needed real attention. The Cummins tends to outlast almost everything bolted to it, the highest compliment you can give an engine and a fair warning for anyone shopping used. If you had to pick one truck here to take 300,000 miles into the middle of nowhere, wouldn't this be the obvious choice? Hold that thought. Number 1 is the Toyota Hilux. Toyota built it around restraint, a heavily reinforced frame, an engine tuned for endurance over raw output, a mechanical layout that avoids complexity it doesn't need. It became the truck aid organizations, militaries, and news crews reached for specifically because, more often than the alternatives, it kept running when conditions turned genuinely dangerous: deserts, conflict zones, terrain with no paved roads at all. That reputation is also why a British television crew once put one through an extraordinary series of punishments: submerged in seawater, set on fire, dropped from height, placed on a building during a controlled demolition. It's important to be honest about that moment. It wasn't a scientific study, and it isn't proof that every Hilux in every condition is indestructible. What it did was put a spotlight on decades of real-world trust that had already been earned long before the cameras showed up. The stunt didn't create the reputation. It amplified one that already existed. And the reputation still comes with caveats. Different generations, different engines, different export markets, and different maintenance histories produce very different ownership experiences. Rust on older frames remains an honest concern here too, same as every truck on this list. So why does it beat an engine as respected as the Cummins? Because this ranking was never only about towing numbers or engine reputation in isolation. It's the complete picture: engineering discipline, real-world durability, repairability in places where that actually matters, and a track record built across some of the most demanding conditions a vehicle can face. That's what makes the Hilux the strongest overall candidate here, not a claim that it's immune to wear, failure, or age. Think back to the truck we opened with: flooded, burned, dropped, started again. It wasn't the most powerful truck on this list, and it wasn't the newest. Its reputation was already earned long before that camera crew showed up. The stunt didn't make it tough, it just proved, on camera, what people in some of the hardest places on Earth already knew. Durable doesn't mean indestructible. Every truck here has a weakness. What separates these 5 is how much abuse they can absorb before that weakness catches up with them. So, did the Hilux deserve the crown, or is there a truck on this list, or one we left off entirely, that you'd put above it? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. There's a lot more of this coming.